the party spokesperson on education and skills.
Good morning, delegates, and good morning to all of the viewers who have joined us from across the country. We have an important message for ourselves, but for you, the citizens of this republic, who will, within the next 2 years, come to the ballot boxes and hopefully elect a new government. My responsibility this morning is for education. And in the words of Eamon Dunphy, we have a good education system, but it's no longer a great education system. It's been neglected by successive Fianna Fáil ministers and Fianna Fáil ministers for finance. And it now is underperforming because it doesn't have the resources that it needs. And that's why I support the idea of moving to a 7% spend in education over the 5 years that Labour will be in government after the next election. I have set out 15 priorities for education that's available and accessible on our website, and it's available to delegates here at the education stand in the hall. But I want to concentrate on 3 things in my brief time allocation. There is a wonderful convergence of ideology, of incentivisation and of self-interest that happens to be Labour's moment. And that is equality and prosperity are now the 2 sides of the one coin of investment in the educational system of Ireland if we are to create the new knowledge economy upon which the future of this country depends. Labour's hour has come. Equal citizens with equal access to education will unlock the talent of their brains and their imagination and will create the economy upon which we will all depend. That time is now, and that's why investment in education is so important. The second thing I want to say is this. The Ireland of 2010 has come a long way from the Ireland of 1910. And the dominance of the Catholic Church and of the churches and of church thinking and of institutional thinking at the expense of the individual is no longer appropriate for this day and age. This is not some anti-religious point of view. This is not some vigorous, aggressive sectarianism or secularism. This is a liberation, a republican liberation for all of the citizens of this country, where we will respect each other and each other's beliefs. And it is for that reason that Labour supports the call originally made by the Archbishop of Dublin, Diarmuid Martin, for a forum on the future patronage arrangements for the 3,300 national schools in our country. This has got to be done by negotiation, with respect for all of the stakeholders, the pupils, the teachers and the parents. But it has to be done. We cannot have, as John Nesbitt described, the kind of false declarations that people make in order to ensure that their child can get a place in the local primary school. And the last thing I want to say is this. In today's Irish Independent and other newspapers, there are calls for an increased contribution from the 18 religious congregations who were cited in the redress reports, and where the cost to the taxpayer is now running at €1,360 million, of which only 10% was paid for by those congregations. And the Taoiseach has called for a bigger contribution from them. They are an ageing community with elderly members in their congregations who need care, and money is scarce. But they could in fact step up to the plate in the following way, which would actually cost them nothing. And it is that they would hand over, at no cost to you, the taxpayer, the legal ownership of the educational infrastructure which they currently own, and vested in the people of this republic. The schools would continue as schools. The patronage arrangements would continue in their present form until such time as it was decided otherwise. But we, the citizens of this republic, and you, the taxpayers, would at last feel that half of the cost of the redress scandal, which indicted us all, at least had been met by the 18 religious congregations. Thank you very much indeed.